What's up, guys? So I feel the next most important thing regarding this plane is figuring out what battery you want to run. I didn't have any 6S batteries, so I needed to pick one up. You also have the option of running 3Ss in series. I didn't want to do that. I have plenty of other 3Ss, but usually I take a couple planes out, so I wanted a dedicated battery for this plane. So this is a 6S plane, and from the factory it is shipped with an EC5 connector. The batteries that my local hobby store had were EC3 connectors, so I actually had them cut them off and put EC5s on them so they match the plane. I've seen guys jumper from an EC3 on the battery to an EC5 on the plane, as well as converting the plane to an EC3 so it just plugs directly into an EC3 battery. I don't like that for a couple of reasons. I feel the plane was built with an EC5 for a reason, so I wanted to leave that there. I also didn't want to run a jumper harness. I just figured that's more connector points for voltage drop. And I just kind of wanted a nice clean setup. So my easiest thing that I found to do was just to cut this off, put an EC5 on and just be done. The next thing you want to take into consideration is the battery compartment on this is fairly large. You got about 1.5 inch clearance on the firewall. It's about 2 inches wide. And I would say you have about 7 inches of total usable length. That's all the way back to the receiver. I only would say about 6 inches total that you want to use, but it is there if needed. So anyway, the height's the most determining factor when selecting your batteries. This Kinesis 30C, it's a 3200 milliamp. They were super cheap. It's only a 1C charge rate, so you know I only get to charge these at 3.2 amps, which kind of gets a little tedious. But the price was right. I think they were only like 60 or 70 bucks compared to some of the higher charge rates as well as the higher outputs. But if you look in the manual, it recommends anywhere from a 3200 to a 4000 30C battery, and these were readily available, so this is what I'm going with. Plane flies great on it. I was getting about 5 minutes flight time. Anyway, that's a topic for another video. But anyway, I'll just kind of lay this in here real quick so you guys can see. It's almost flush in there, so height's the big portion of it. 2 inches gives me plenty. This battery's only 1.5 inches wide, so I could definitely stick a much bigger battery in there if needed. But the canopy for this plane fits very, very tight on there, and even with this battery, I do kind of have a slight bulge down in this area. I could probably remove just a hair of material, but if these batteries puff or anything, I'm gonna have a super tough time with that. I've kind of ran into that with my P51. Some of the 4S batteries that I have for it don't really fit anymore just because they're kind of puffed. These batteries only have about 2 flights on them each, so they still fit pretty good. But I would say this is about the biggest battery that you could put in height-wise. Still got plenty of width, about a 1/2 inch to play with, and this one's about 5 1/4 long. So I got about another 3/4 of an inch in length that I could play with for a bigger battery setup. But overall, I'm happy. I'm getting about 5 minutes, like I said. I charged one of these at 2300 milliamps and one at 2500, so I still got a little bit to play with. If I got coming in for a landing and I don't like it, I can pull out of it, make a loop, come back, and still feel comfortable about having enough juice in the battery to do so safely. So anyhow, that's kind of my take on the batteries. They also do include a little bit of Velcro. I ripped mine in half just to cover the 2 bottoms of these. So the battery tray is kind of like a balsa wood battery tray, but it does have the other half of the Velcro on there. So it does secure the battery very nicely. So overall, I'm very happy with the battery compartment on this plane. So anyhow, we'll move on to the next topic. I'll probably go into some transmitter setups and we'll go from there.